Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. For today's video we're heading to Wollaton Hall and Deer Park, and we're aiming to get some shots of the red deer that they have there. So with a bit of luck I'll show you a deer on screen next. Welcome back to the channel guys. Today we're heading over to Nottinghamshire. Just near the middle of Nottingham is a park called Wollaton Park, and they're famous for a big hall and a lot of deer. I discovered this place a few years ago when I woke up at 5 AM, as I do quite a lot, after a stag do, and went for a little wander around where we were and found a whole herd of deer. It was a bit of a surreal experience, if I'm honest, but they were friendly enough, and I thought I'll come back and take a photo of those, and I did. A couple of times actually, and today we will try and do the same again. So we're on the Honda DeVille NT650 today. This is a bike I put together over Christmas for a charity ride, which is hopefully happening next year. And we'll be heading along down a few A roads, then down the M1, bit of motorway, and then a few A roads at the other end. It'll take us about 40 to 60 minutes to get there. We should be there in the hour. And I believe Wollaton still has free motorcycle parking too, which is nice. So I'm hoping it doesn't cost us to park there. It's been a while since I've been out on the DeVille. I've been using the VFR a lot lately. It's actually quite nice to sit on. It's got some better wind protection. I've got the tall screen on as well as the extra extender. Anyway, Wollaton Park, just on the left here. So there are a lot of entrances to Wollaton. I'm going to head in the next one here. Well, as you can see, this is a lovely spot. I'm pretty close to the deer right now. I'm maybe 30 metres away from them. And although they're obviously not comfortable with me being here watching them, they're milling about doing their thing. Quite a few males there. Got some impressive antlers starting to come along. And this is a great spot. Just behind us, the larger red deer that we saw on the way in. There are fallow and roe as well in the UK, and muntjac. The lone ones you tend to see are muntjac deers. But what a spectacular sight. Take a few more pictures and then we'll head off. So for equipment today we've got the trusty Canon R5, and we have a battery rip on that, by the way, with 2 batteries in. We've got the Canon RF 100 to 500 lens. That's nice because it is portable enough to take on a bike in a rucksack. It has enough zoom on it to get quite close to a deer from a good distance away. So Canon R5, 100 to 500 RF. We don't have a tripod today. We don't really need one, and nor could I fit one on the bike. So we are just shooting handheld. And I've got my little Niwa rucksack with me, with a couple of spare batteries in it. So I do expect to be at the full focal length at 500mm, shooting the deer, lowish ISO, and probably as wide as the aperture goes. So for our settings today, it was nice and bright and sunny, and I'm happy to say we were down at ISO 100 for our shot. We were up at the full 500mm end of our focal length, so that meant we were limited to f7.1 as the lowest aperture, and our exposure time was up at 1/320th of a second, which kept things nice and sharp on the deer. In terms of our subject to detect, we were on animals, and our shutter mode was on electronic, so it was nice and quiet. We were performing single shooting, so no burst shots were needed for this, and that's our settings for today. So here you can see Wollaton Hall, quite an imposing building. I believe a Batman movie was shot there, but it is fantastically grand. And next up we have some of the fallow deer we saw. It's the first time I've seen those at Wollaton, and they really were nice to see. There was quite a large herd of them actually. Here's a little bit of footage of them. As you can see, there's a mix of male and females there. They were obviously nervous about me being so close to them, but they stood their ground for a good while before they moved along. So it was really pleasant to see these. I was expecting to see the red deer, but not the fallow deer. So this was a nice surprise on the day. Next up, we have one of the stags sat there with some birds hopping around on him. I'm not sure if they were eating ticks or doing something else, but it was quite funny to see. And then a bit of a video of the group of males all there together feeding. So it really was a great sight and well worth the visit. And finally, we have the grey herons in their heronry that we stumbled upon on the lake, which was really nice. So after a good day at Wollaton, this is the image that I've chosen to keep. I love the deer head on walking towards us with the antlers showing. That's exactly the sort of thing I wanted. The edit's going to be quite a light touch, I think. We'll get rid of this other deer behind in the background. I think we'll leave the tree and we'll tweak the general tone of the image a bit. So let's start with the deer in the room and get rid of this. We'll use the clone stamp tool. We'll use a soft brush, quite a large brush, well, medium-sized brush, 370 pixels. And we'll grab a bit of grass by pressing Alt and then clicking. And then we'll drag that all over the deer and get rid of him. Her, sorry. Shouldn't assume the deer's gender. Okay, that looks a bit more natural. So we've lost our dear friend. Dear friend. Just making the shadow a little bit irregular as well. Okay, the tree behind, I'm a little bit tempted to lose that as well. Yeah, let's see what it's like with that removed. Yeah, I think I prefer it without the tree. Okay, I'm happier with that. I'm going to crop out this top quadrant. That's just not needed. It doesn't add anything. I do want to keep the deer's shadow in the image. I think that looks cool. But I might crop in maybe a little closer. Actually, let's stick him on the center of that rule of thirds line, the left-hand third of the screen. Okay, that's nice. He does look cool, doesn't he? So it's a red deer, and the red males are called bucks. Red deer males are also called stags, and the females are called does. So I'm going to start by using the levels, Control L for levels, and I'm going to watch the deer as I bring up the black point. And you'll see it starts to stand out very nicely. And that looks the natural colour, the red colour of them. So that's good. I've got a bit of Rembrandt lighting on his face here, which is quite nice. Okay, so we're just going to brighten up a little bit the right-hand side of his face. Image adjusts shadows and highlights. And I'm not going to pull that up much at all. I certainly don't want to highlight both sides of the face. I love the shadow it casts. Okay, that's good. Highlights. I might tone those down and bring out the red in him a bit. Bump the shadows a little further now. Okay, so that's 18% on shadows and 15% on highlights. So I'm just going to go back to levels, and I'm going to move the midpoint just to brighten the image a little bit. Okay, that's a bit better. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is image adjustments, vibrance and saturation. So the vibrance I'll punch up a bit, and I'm looking at the red on the deer. That's about right. Saturation, I'm looking at the grass. No more than that. So that's 50% vibrance, 4% saturation. Might crop in a little bit tighter. Yeah, I think so. And then I'll go Tools, Sharpen, and Unsharp Mask. Give it a little bit of a sharpen. It really doesn't need a lot. It's already a very, very sharp picture. You see all the detail of the hairs. The eyes are in there well. The nose looks good. The antlers look great. It's a good shot. It doesn't need an awful lot more than that. I will bump up the lower end of the curve a little bit. Control M for curves. Just punch that up a smidge. And I think it's as simple as that. I think we'll call that one done. It's a very simple edit today. When you've got a subject like this,
that's already a spectacular looking shot, you really don't need to do an awful lot in post-processing. So that's our picture for today. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Had a great time at Wollaton Hall actually. There was all sorts of good stuff there. Not only the deer, but the lake, the heronry and other bits and bobs. I would recommend it for a visit. Please do subscribe and you'll get more content of a similar nature.